Well, we have a bone to contest then.
Oh, go ahead.
Exorcist 2.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole show, isn't it?
It's the Dame Taft Movie Show, hosted by my nephew, Screww.
Thank you, Auntie. Yes, it is the Dame Taft Movie Show. I am Screw. Please welcome the star of the show, filmmaker and author Harrison Smith, a.k.a. H-Bomb. H-Bomb. Like that, he appears. Well, it's a sad time, H-Bomb. Chuck Norris has passed away. Have you any thoughts on this actor, karate expert? Were you a fan? Did you see the movies in which he appeared?
I saw some of them. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, I was never into like the karate stuff and all of that. But I respected what he did. I mean, the guy really carved out a hell of a career for himself, and most of all, branded himself. And I think '86 is a good run, and he's going to be pretty much immortal now. I mean, people will remember him forever, kind of thing. I think.
Yeah. Let's look at a clip or two.
Chuck Norris, a creation of science whose only thought is to survive. Chuck Norris must destroy him. In a final battle to the death and beyond. Silent Rage.
Someone, it might have been Tarantino, described that movie as Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers, which is
Yeah,
pretty close, and it did come out around that time. I was sitting around thinking, he wasn't my favorite action star. He's kind of low on the list after you got to go with, Clint,
sure.
Arnold, Stallone, and Charles Bronson, and he kind of tied with Van Damme for me, I guess. And it's not. It's a combination of the personality of the actor and the movies in which they appear. And some of these guys got the scripts that were turned down by everybody else. A lot of action movies were at one time spec scripts for the next Dirty Harry movie, and then after Clint would turn it down, it would go on down. Maybe Charles Bronson would do it or something
Sure,
like that.
sure.
But I was thinking to myself, I never really saw this guy's movies in the theater. That one we looked at,
No, I
Silent
never
Rage.
saw
That
one
one,
in the theater.
okay, okay. That one we looked at, Silent Rage. That's the first one I saw, and there were only two,
Yeah, I saw Good
two
Guys
more
Wear
after
Black.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, I haven't seen them all.
Mr.
Yeah,
Howell was in Good Guys Wear Black, if I'm not mistaken. Jim
I saw
Backus.
that. Jim Backus. I saw it so long ago on a bad VHS. I don't even remember it. But it was directed by Ted Post, who directed Magnum Force.
Yep.
But like I said, they were the lower
Saw
tier
Yeah,
scripts.
Lone Wolf McQuade. Yep.
That was a good one. Let's look at another.
I remember that
What
one
he
right there,
is,
missing
what
in
he's
action.
doing, where he lives, I want him.
Squad, this is 1462. I need backup.
Hey, you don't want to be in here.
I want your opinion. I'll beat it out of you.
A mob war to stop. Take him apart.
Where's Cusack?
Code of silence. The toughest cop in the world just got tougher. Chuck Norris. Code of silence.
His
Toughest cop in the
hairpiece was
world.
as tough as he was.
He didn't have a hairpiece, at least not back
Yeah,
then.
he did.
No, not back then. That was his real hair. But when he showed up in Expendables 2 with that painted-on beard, it was pretty shocking. There's Expendables 2 right there. And I get it. They're getting all the action stars together in one movie. It was cute, but he shows up to Clint Eastwood's Ennio Morricone music,
Yeah.
which really irked me. the Lone Wolf McQuade score was a ripoff of Ennio Morricone, and that would have suited him. That was his music. Why would they have him come on to Clint's music? That will always irk me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw Silent Rage in the theater. Missing in Action 3, which was not good.
No.
And, Firewalker, the pseudo-comedy he did with Lou Gossett there. But, yeah, I don't have terribly strong feelings. I do enjoy the canon stuff on Blu-ray. I have a good collection of the better movies. But, yeah, that's about it. I figured, being a movie show, we couldn't proceed without acknowledging his passing.
There's no doubt he was a pop culture, item. I remember I was saying before the clip came on that I worked in a video store in the 80s, and I remember you couldn't keep like Missing in Action on the shelf. It was like as soon as it came back in, somebody's like, "Do you have Missing in Action? Do you have Missing in Action?" And a lot of his stuff just flew off the shelves on home video.
Very popular movie, and that was one of those movie trends when all of a sudden you get a series of similar movies within about a year's time. So that came out after Uncommon Valor, Rescue the Vietnam Vets, First Blood Part 2, Rescue the Vietnam Vets, and then that one the same story. So it's funny to look at the three in comparison. That would be the weaker of those three films, but it's still a good action movie from the director of Friday the 13th Part 4, your boy, Joe Zito, who also did The Prowler. Invasion USA is a good action movie.
Oh, I remember Top Dog. Oh.
You remember seeing it?
I didn't see it. I think.
Me neither.
Can you check the date on that? I think I was managing a movie theater, and we had it. I seem to remember. I remember the poster.
Yeah. And again, that came out after Turner and Hooch and K9.
Yeah, K9.
Jim Belushi.
Jim Belushi, yeah.
The comedy with the police dogs trend.
Yeah.
No, I don't know the year on that, and I don't care to look it up. All right, let's watch one last clip, and we'll move on here.
This is a hijack! Heads down! This is a hand grenade!
We're members of Delta Force, and we're here to take you home.
The Delta Force. Starring Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin.
American, I want to negotiate. Do you hear me, American?
Loud and clear.
America's new heroes, the Delta Force.
That was a movie I didn't appreciate when it came out. Of course, I didn't see it in the theater, but about 2014, I gave a reevaluation, and it's a good movie. Yeah, the hijacking stuff is melodramatic, and a lot of the cast is what one consider over the hill, but I find them enjoyable. Martin Balsam and George Kennedy and Shelley Winters and stuff.
Well, Cannon kept Martin Balsam employed for a while there.
Oh, yeah, he was in Death Wish 3 also.
Yeah, Death Wish, and I remember seeing those videos on the shelf. I'm like, Martin Balsam, wow, he's still doing something. Okay.
All Angry Men. But I think it's a good movie, and I'll tell you something about the Delta Force. Robert Forster's really good in it. It's a one-dimensional character on the page, and usually these terrorist guys are twirling their mustaches and whatnot, but it's in his eyes. That's a solid performance, which is not easy to do in a kind of a lower caliber movie, a lower tier movie, exploitation genre. Anyway, I just wanted to say that it's of note. It's something of note.
On a non-movie thing. I never met Chuck Norris, but I know people who knew him. And, there seems to be, and people that just met him in general, a very nice man, just like a real down-to-earth, real nice guy. That's the impression I always got of him.
Yeah, a veteran, a nice Christian man. And, I guess he got tired of doing R-rated movies and took that TV series, Walker, Texas Ranger, which is... It's a kid's show. I remember watching the first episode thinking, oh, cool, Chuck Norris on a weekly television series. It's very corny and very tame, but it ran for a long time. So
Yeah,
God
it
bless
did.
him. God bless him. That's what everyone wants is a long-running series, and nothing wrong with success. All right. Well, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Let's see what other mischief we can get into here.
You and I have unfinished business.
Okay, so H-Bomb, you were upset about a tweet my auntie mentioned about Exorcist 2. Here it is.
Heaven help me. I'm actually enjoying Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Early onset dementia? Or am I simply sucking up to Boorman fan Roger Avery?
All right, so that's the tweet. Apparently, that got you upset, but I think I think you misunderstood it. It's not an endorsement of the movie per se. What happened? And this reason why I bring this up is because this raises a discussion. Okay, not to defend movies that are banned across the board, and there's always one fellow who's going to champion them. But I do appreciate when someone points out things. You know, it's real easy to dismiss a movie, but when someone actually makes an articulate argument for the merits of an otherwise dismissed film. And Roger Avery, he's a big John Boorman fan. I'd like to ask you about John Boorman. What's your opinion of the films of John Boorman? Have you seen many of them?
I've seen a number of them, and I gotta say that overall, I don't know, he's kind of very, I'm trying to find the right word here. Not
English?
No. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that, but he's kind of like a more action-oriented Stanley Kubrick. I find his films well made. Here, let me get to that. I think his films are well made. They're produced well. They're shot well. They're put together well. And before I answer that completely on Boorman, I find the same with The Shining. I think The Shining is extremely well made, well produced, beautiful to look at. It's just a production feast. But I think The Shining is ultimately extremely dull. I think it's dull. I think it was wrongly cast. And, I'm also of the camp of I read the book. And it's nothing like the book other than they took maybe 10 pages out of the book and made a movie into it. But it's still not a bad movie. It's just not one that I particularly think is so great. However, with that all being said, Boorman is the same way. Like I made a comment one time on Excalibur. It was like, oh, I've been, buried under a lot of work. I need to sleep. Maybe I'll watch Excalibur. That'll put me to sleep. And somebody just went off on me, oh, that's the problem. Oh, you don't understand good movies. And I'm like, yeah, I only make them, but okay, yeah, I don't understand them. I really, to be fair to Boorman, I was never a knights and damsels in distress kid. I was a monsters kid. So, for me, I found knights in shining armor and all that silly, and I never got into it. But again, Excalibur is not badly made. It's just, to me, I think it's extremely dull. And I found a number of his films. But when we get to Exorcist 2,
Hold on. Don't
Okay.
get past Excalibur here because I want to comment on that. Yeah, it doesn't grab me. I have it on the shelf. I admire aspects of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't grab me.
No.
It's just one of those things, and I understand that people are passionate about it. I question whether they like it as much as they claim to. They like the idea of it more than the actual
I think you're right.
entertainment value of it, but that's fine. I don't care. Another funny thing about Excalibur, it reminds me of when they were making those two nuclear disaster movies in the 60s. One a serious film, Failsafe, and one a parody, Dr. Strangelove, on two different books. The parody came out first. Not that everyone saw both movies back at the time, but to go see the serious movie after the parody, especially if the parody making an impression on you, how can you not refer back to those jokes? And the same is true with Excalibur. how can you not think of Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Right.
Both King Arthur movies. You got a hilarious parody there, and it's played straight. Excalibur is played straight, and I can't help but thinking back on that. And I know I'm not alone. But as far as Boorman, we'll just finish up on Boorman here and take a look at some Exorcist 2. Yeah, I went. Okay, so Roger Avery, I respect him as not just as a filmmaker, but as a film scholar, you know. And he and his pal Quentin can do that. They can dismiss a movie that's overly praised, or acknowledge a movie that got overlooked and unfairly berated, and make an argument for it. And those are the arguments I enjoy. That they're articulate and they make you consider for a moment. So. Not that I have to speak up for Auntie, but that was her deal. He goes on, I think it was the Michael Biehn podcast, which is a lot of fun, talking about how he loves Boorman as his favorite director. He even likes Exorcist 2, which is the proper way to state that. And I got it on the shelf. It came with the box set, so I go back and look at it. And there are interesting aspects. It helps if it's taken as a movie on its own, then it is a wacko movie. Am I recommending it? No. Only the diehard people like freaky shit, maybe if you're on hallucinogens. And then, we could do a whole Boorman discussion, talk about Zardoz. I mean, speaking of nutty movies.
I saw that.
Point Blank, which is very highly praised, but it's a revenge movie. It has some good elements, but all of his stylistic choices seem too obvious. They don't seem organic. They jump out and hit you over the head. It's like, why shoot it that way? Oh, it's a stylistic choice. The stylistic choices that work for me are the ones that are subliminal. They're under the radar. They kind of get to you at a gut level. They don't jump out and say, hey, look at what I did here, you know? You don't see other movies like this. But yeah, and what else you got? Okay, so Zardoz. Of course, Deliverance. That's
Deliverance. Well, and that's probably the one that I feel is his best.
Me too. I mean, you got the cast, the script there, the suspense. It doesn't remind me whatsoever of Point Blank or Zardoz, to its credit. Okay, so yeah, that's what she was saying. But you understand what I'm saying too. I mean, has that ever happened to you? Because I could name a couple of instances where someone did make a good argument for a film that I had just, dismissed and say, okay, well, that's a good point. I never thought of it that way. And even to go so far as to go back and take a look at the movie just because of someone made an impressive argument. Has it ever happened to you?
You
closed-minded.
do that.
Are you closed-minded?
No. I do that with you. You often make me rethink things, and I'm like, okay, and your aunt does as well too when I retweet her posts, because it's like, yeah, okay, I kind of see that. Maybe I was a little too harsh on things. Like doing that made me go back, for example, I don't know what caused me to do it, but I went back and revisited Neighbors with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Right.
And
that's a movie that I wanted to like. I
same
would
here.
like to like it. Go ahead.
But I can't say that I like it, but I saw what there was some intent there. I got the intent, and I really appreciated more that Belushi and Aykroyd switched roles. That
Me too.
Belushi, and I thought Belushi did a great job as Earl Keese. I really did.
I agree.
So this kind
what
of
was the problem then? Was it just the director? Was it just John Avildsen? Or
I
was it
think
the script too.
I think there was a mix, because I also think the studio had a hand in things and messing with things and cutting things, and I just think that Avildsen himself, he wasn't meant for that material. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, that he should handle especially a very dark comedy about suburbia. To me, it just there were a lot of things there. I think.
Yeah, not only that, but in historical context, that movie came out after Animal House, after the Blues Brothers, after Caddyshack. We were dying for some more of that excellent comedy, and the fact is, you just don't get movies as funny as that often. and it was way below expectations. Neighbors.
Well, I remember the audience reaction to it. I sat in the theater and saw
too.
that in '82, and I remember
or lack of reaction,
or lack of. I was just going to say there. A lot of it was you could tell the audience was like, you'd hear that,
yeah,
but you wouldn't. It wasn't laugh out loud, and I think you're right. In context, people were expecting Animal House. They were expecting something wild, and instead we got a very uneven. And then, of course, we've talked about the Bill Conti score, which is just horrendous. Horrendous.
I hate a bad comedy score, but it was okay though because Belushi followed it up with Continental Divide, and everything was okay after that.
Yeah, well, and then he's gone.
I don't even remember that movie. I remember renting it on cassette. But well, let's take a look at some Exorcist 2 real quick, and we'll wrap up this segment.
Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Listen to this Tarantino quote coming up.
I don't know how you conceive without at least thinking that some people might laugh at it. I think it was taken completely by surprise by Exorcist 2, The Heretic. But you know, that's that whole, there's that line that Pauline Kael said that if you watch Exorcist 2, The Heretic with the sound off, you might think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, so I did watch it again, and there are things in there that kind of tickled me. Like I said, I wouldn't.
Well, which version?
And Auntie wasn't recommending it either. Just like saying, "Hey, this guy convinced me to take a look at this movie here," and I'm feeling kind of daffy all of a sudden. Which version? What? There was more than one version?
I think there are 3 versions of it.
I got the Blu-ray. I think there's only one on the Blu-ray box set. I mean, yeah, we got 2 versions of the other 3 movies, don't we? I guess there's a 5th one now.
Oh yeah.
2 versions of The Exorcist, 2 versions of Exorcist 3, 2 versions of Exorcist. Was it 4? The beginning? I don't know.
Yeah, there were 2 of those. Paul Schrader did one, and then Rennie Harlan did one.
Right.
And they went back and remade the Paul Schrader one.
Yeah, Dominion.
Dominion, correct. It was a prequel.
And I've seen it, and it's forgettable. But I have the Rennie Harlan one on the shelf for like 10 years now. Haven't watched it. What am I going to be impressed by it? Am I going to enjoy it?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe if somebody pays me to watch it. But okay, so to sum up, Exorcist and Exorcist 3, just like Halloween and Halloween 3. Okay, the first one and the third one, then you're good. Go find another movie.
Definitely.
Okay. Anything else we want to talk about Boorman or Roger Avery here on this?
No, not Roger Avery. I hope he watched Slow Burn if he's listening.
Slow Burn. Yeah, we don't want to hit him too much over the head.
No.
Maybe he'll come
Just
around.
hoping.
He's a busy man, but
Yeah.
he did say he was interested in AI, and I think, everyone should listen to Dr. Smith.
Watch Harrison Smith's horror movie Slow Burn, free on Rad TV.
It's the Dame Taft Movie Show, hosted by my nephew, Screww.